Hey everybody, Madison here with Health by Ratio, and in this video we are going to talk about my three main tips for your nutrition going into 2022. New Year's resolutions, obviously on the health and or fitness side. Now, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm the founder of Health by Ratio, and my team and I consist of licensed physical therapists, orthopedic movement specialists, corrective exercise specialists, as well as functional health coaches. And we work holistically with our clients to get them out of recurring and chronic pains and injuries. So we help them heal and rehabilitate on that side, but then translate that to progressing them back to the active lifestyles they love to live. So whether that is around sports, whether that's around exercise, whether that's just being able to keep up with the grandkids and play with them in the yard or whatever it's that person's passions are in their life, we want to make sure that their health and fitness programs are building them toward living those functionally active lives. And one of the main aspects that my team and I are passionate about with helping our clients on is the nutritional side, because we want to make sure that we are helping not just the physical body from the techniques that we do, but also working on the body's health through proper gut health and the right nutrients for our tissues to repair and all that good stuff. So there are a number of health, nutrition techniques, supplements, recommendations that are out there, and they obviously are geared toward different individuals that are doing certain activities. They should probably be doing one thing more or less, or if someone wants to do weight loss, someone wants to have their priority being their immune system, someone wants brain cognition and being as energetic as possible, hormone regulation, blah, 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 blah. There's obviously different things. This video is kind of geared toward the three that to me are interconnected to all these facets, but are specifically also going to impact us on the potential aesthetic side. So weight loss, muscle gain, that kind of thing, because as that's normally very prevalent in many of our New Year's resolutions. So let's get rolling into these three, and I should say that this is actually a complement to the three-part series that we did last week, which was on how to prepare the whole body from head to toe. There was the feet, the ankles, the knees, the hips, the back, the shoulders, the neck, physically speaking, with some really key mobility techniques to get the body ready for whatever activities we wanted to start trying to tackle in this new year. So we already addressed the physical side on the mobility side and preparing the body that way. Now let's talk about how to complement this on the nutritional side. So the first recommendation is of the three that I'm going to go through, and then there's going to be one bonus for those that are overachievers. The first of the three is plant variety, is get in as large of a variety of plants as possible. And to fine tune this just a little bit more, I would say is prioritizing vegetables, because most of us get in of everything enough fruit or enough beans or enough whole grains and that kind of thing. Not everybody that so I do want to say that in general, we want a variety of plant foods. Each plant food is going to have a different set of nutrients. It's going to have different fiber for us. So we want to have dozens and dozens of different varieties, but many of us, whether it's through the delicious tasting sweet fruits that we actually have, or whether it's through nightshades that we think are kind of vegetables but are actually fruits, which are like the zucchini squash and zucchini family, tomatoes, peppers, all those things. Mushrooms are fungi, but that's also in the nightshade category. So we often eat those things. We eat all these tomatoes and peppers and zucchini, and we think, all right, we got all of our vegetables, but actually we just ate a variety of fruits there. So again, not to say that they're bad. Fruits are needed. We need to have those things. We need beans and legumes. We all some people need more or less of those things. We need potentially whole grains, or some facet of them. Again, some people need more or less of them. This isn't a one size fits all. It's variety, though, is the key thing, and we all need vegetables. So getting in a variety of vegetables is my number one. And if you have struggles with this, where you tend to either skip your vegetables and maybe you think it's too difficult to prepare, or it's going to take too long, or maybe you don't get in a variety, maybe you just have a bunch of broccoli, or maybe you swap in some cauliflower once in a blue moon, but you're not really getting in a variety of different kinds. What I recommend is keep it simple. Go to the grocery store, buy bags of pre-cut, pre-chopped up stuff. Obviously, it would be great if you could pull it off of the ground out back in your farm and bring it in and wash it and clean it and have it fresh. But that's not realistic for all of us. And for those on a time crunch that are trying to improve their nutrition, this is a low-hanging fruit. So grab some pre-made, pre-chopped stuff. And you can have, then for that night, get a baking sheet out. Grab a bunch of different bags of these things. You could have a bag of some kind of leafy greens, maybe a kale or a chard or something like that. You can have some broccoli. You could have some Brussels sprouts. You can have some cauliflower rice. You could have some onions. You could throw on some garlic. You could, whatever. Get all these chopped things up and just open up all the bags and lay it all out on the cookie sheet, mix them up, throw some olive oil, or I should say, I prefer avocado oil for cooking purposes, but like coconut oil, whatever, your oil of choice, throw it on there, throw it in the oven at 325, 350 for the next 30 to 40 minutes, depending on how much you want to cook it and how many vegetables you actually have loaded on that thing. And you're great. You got tons of variety, and you're probably going to have leftovers for the next couple of days. So that's an easy way of getting in a variety of vegetables, and it goes a long way. And like I said, giving your body a variety of fibers, a variety of nutrients, it satiates you. Fiber and nutrients are what satiate you, so it's going to make you eat less of the bad stuff, and you can't get fat off of your vegetables. So like by consuming these things and prioritizing these things, we're going to promote a healthy immune system, healthy gut, a good body composition, all the above. So that's recommendation number one. Recommendation number two is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting has become huge in the health, wellness, and longevity world for a variety of reasons. I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting. I am not a big fan of intermittent fasting every day, all the time. So this is a great suggestion, but it's not something that you need to be doing 24/7. But intermittent fasting is as simple as reducing your eating window down to a certain period of time throughout the day. So instead of waking up first thing in the morning, having breakfast within that first hour, and then eating until the end of the day, where you're eating over the course of like 12, 14 hours kind of thing, instead you condense down your window, and it can be as little as a 10-hour or as much as a 10-hour window kind of thing. So in that scenario, if you've stopped eating at 10 a.m. or started eating at 10 a.m. with your first calories of the day, you would finish by 8 p.m. that day. So that can be your window of consumption. It can be your normal amount of calories for the day. You're just restricting it between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. is the only times that you're going to eat that. Or it can be probably the optimal is the 8 hours of feed window and then 16 of fasting. So that would be, in this case, 12 p.m. until 8 p.m. would be that kind of window. Or you can even go into a more extreme intermittent fast. You don't need to. It's just if that's relatively easy for you, you can also go to a 6-hour eating window, or 4-hour eating window, or 2-hour eating window. Like you can push these fasting periods more so. But the benefits to fasting is that it gives your body a break from always producing insulin and always having blood sugar risers. It gives your body a chance to reset, to get old waste out of it, to allow it to produce like good hormones like HGH that it might not have as much of an opportunity when it's constantly eating and insulin's being promoted. So that HGH helps with muscle repair. It also helps with fat loss and overall health of the body. Especially in our later years as we're approaching middle age and beyond. So intermittent fasting can be amazing. Now, I will say again, not doing this every day. Males often can do it a little bit more frequently than females, but especially around menstruation. But like, just be conscious of how you're feeling. You shouldn't feel like you're depleted. You shouldn't feel like you're starved. And one caveat is it's not just eating; it's basically calories. So if you're drinking calories, that can knock you out of a fasted state. So anything over 15 calories can throw you out of that fasted state. So if you're doing intermittent fasting in the morning, or in the evening, whenever you're kind of abstaining from your calories, you can only have like water, black coffee, tea, that kind of stuff, maybe some coconut or almond milk if you want to throw that, because it's like 5 or 10 calories or less, but you're not having anything that's going to be greater than that 15 calorie mark that would potentially knock you out of that fasted state. Okay, that's recommendation number 2. Recommendation number 3 on this list is actually on the supplement side. And there's, like I said, a million different supplements that I can recommend. And they all different, like it just depends on what we're talking about. Blood sugar control, keeping satiation, overall nutrients to the body, immune system function, sleep, whatever. Like there's a million different supplements that we could go into. But in terms of the overall health of the body and repair of tissue, whether this is from injured tissues that need to repair or whether it's just from a good workout we need to repair, My number one is essential amino acids, not branch chain amino acids, not BCAAs, essential amino acids, EAAs. So that the EAAs, essential amino acids, contain your branch chain amino acids plus the other six. So branch chain amino acids consist of three. They're the ones that are associated with muscle growth. And a lot of people that exercise will take branch chain amino acids. The challenge is there's been a number of studies, but one big meta-analysis that came out in like, I think 2017 over the course of 20, 30 years. And they were looking at the difference between BCAAs and EAAs. And essentially, because BCAAs only cherry pick the three amino acids, the body doesn't know what to do when it just has those three overloaded in it. It's designed to use all 9 amino acids, not just those 3 by themselves. So what the body does is, since it doesn't know how to process and use them correctly, it'll end up cannibalizing your own muscle tissue to get the other amino acids available so that it can process the abundant BCAAs. So we end up repairing certain parts of the body with the BCAAs, but then cannibalizing other parts of the body so that we are breaking down that muscle tissue so we have the other aminos. So essential amino acids have been shown to help a variety of things. They help with that muscle repair. So that's a big one. But they also help with hormone production, and they help with overall immune system. They help with the brain function. They help with like a ton of things. So that's my recommendation. It also, because essential amino acids they're broken down. You can get them in capsule or powder form. They are little to no calories. They don't break fasted states. So I think that in terms of my intermittent fasting recommendation, it's a great supplement to take, especially around exercise, that we can take without worrying about it taking us out of a fasted position, where like a whey protein or a plant-based protein supplement, however great they can be at times, they would break a fast. So that's why I chose essential amino acids. So that's suggestion number 3. Now, if you are already doing things like those 3 suggestions, you're like, hey, Matt, I'm knocking those out of the park, and you want one more? My 4th would be, for the overachievers out there, would be experimenting in ketosis. Ketosis is meaning your body is using fat as its main energy source. And again, I am not a proponent of necessarily sticking to any one thing forever. I recommend that you do like periods of ketosis, but then followed by periods of normal carbohydrate intake. But we want to be metabolically flexible. We want our body to be able to use fat as an energy source, and we want it to be able to use carbohydrates as an energy source. And if we're always eating carbohydrates on a regular basis, even healthy ones, the body never goes into ketosis. It never uses that fat as an energy source, so it loses that ability to convert energy that way. So how we solve this is we abstain from eating carbs for a period of time, even the healthy ones. Basically, we just have vegetables, healthy fats, and healthy protein. That's really what you consume for anywhere from 3 days and beyond. But it normally takes a few days, about 2 days or so, for your body to work through your carbohydrate storages, so that you have gone through those, and now your body is going to have to force itself to break fat down into ketones, which is what it can use as a form of energy. So it breaks down your dietary fat and your fat storages as energy. Now, if you haven't done a ketogenic diet before, again, I don't recommend them all the time for you, but if you're doing it for a period of, let's say, a week or a few weeks, I highly recommend getting some supplements to aid you in doing it, especially the first go around. So things like exogenous ketones or MCT oil are supplements that you can take in those initial days that are abundant in ketones that help your body convert that fat as an energy source easier. If your body hasn't done it before, it's going to be shell shocked, and it goes through like the keto flu. My wife and I did this the first go around a number of years ago. We just went cold turkey. We didn't do any supplements to help us out with it. We just stopped eating our carbs and went all towards our veggies, fats, and animal protein. And it, like, after 2 days, like, we had flu-like symptoms for the next 2 to 3 days. Now, for the keto flu typically only lasts a couple of days, and normally by day 4 or 5 of you abstaining from carbs, your body flips into ketosis. It figures it out. And as crappy as I felt the day before, the next day I woke up and it was like the lights were turned on. My brain was super active. I was focused, better energy levels. And then we did that diet for about 3 weeks. And as a already relatively lean male at the time, I lost 10 pounds. My wife lost even more, and she's a relatively petite woman. Like, we notice huge differences with our body getting rid of excess fat and inflammation storages and all kinds of stuff. So we leaned out in a good way. And then to maintain that, what we essentially do is we'll go through periods on a weekly basis where we'll spend 3 or 4 days eating a ketogenic style diet. And then the next 3 or 4 days, normally around the weekends, we allow ourselves to have carbohydrates and enjoy ourselves and all that good stuff. So we find a balance there of intermixing ketosis and carbs so that we are metabolically flexible. So that's for the overachievers out there. Now, that's my main recommendations for going on the nutritional side going into 2022. If you guys want some free coaching on probably a bit on the nutrition, but especially on the physical side and understanding how your body is moving and why it's doing what it's doing, and get a game plan on what kind of mobility techniques, what stretches, what corrective exercises, what forms of exercise you should be doing to get your body moving to full ranges of stable motion so that you can keep this health for as long of this body to do the activities you love for decades to come, then I'd love for you to click on the calendar that we have linked below where you can access our calendar and schedule up your first of 2 free coaching calls with my team and I. And we look forward to connecting with you and helping you on your 2022 resolutions. Outside of that, guys, I hope you enjoy. We'll talk soon.